now let's go through the process so that other parents who are watching and other children who probably may have some kind of, well, I don't know, the condition, you know. So what are the things we should look out for? Because you said some signs were there, and you noticed those signs just when they brought the child to you.
Okay. First, let me explain first what Down syndrome is.
Beautiful.
Because that is truly the problem we have in our society, ignorance. A lot of people think Down syndrome is a disease or an illness.
Or something from the evil spirits.
Exactly. But let's start with the illness first, saying the fact that if a child with Down syndrome gets to mix with other children, they keep them away. They probably thought it's something that can be contracted. It's an illness that can be exactly passed on. Down syndrome is not a disease. It is not an illness. It is a condition. It's a genetic condition that is nobody's fault. It could happen spontaneously to anybody. Down syndrome is caused by an excess material in the cell. In the cell, we have what we call chromosomes.
Okay.
Those are blueprints of who we would grow up to be. Like how you look like. Somebody could identify you as belonging to a particular family, maybe the shape of your nose, the eyes, the lips. And exactly all those. Okay. At conception, the male reproductive cell, which should contain 23 chromosomes, joins with the female reproductive cell that should also contain 23. I mean, normally, that cell should contain 23 chromosomes. And then they pair
from
up. From both.
Yes.
The male and female reproductive cells both should contain 23 chromosomes.
Okay.
And when they fuse together to form the baby, they start pairing up. Chromosome 1 to 1,
3 down
2,
like
3
that.
to the 23rd chromosome. But at the 21st pairing, an extra chromosome springs up. So that initial cell that fuses together, instead of having 46 chromosomes, ends up with 47. And as the cell is breaking up and multiplying to form the baby, to form a human being, is multiplying with 47 chromosomes
rather than 46.
That single extra chromosome is what causes this condition called Down syndrome.
So it creates some kind of imbalance in the growing child.
Exactly. That's correct.
I see. How so enlightening that is.
It is. It took me time to begin to learn about it. I had spent the last 26 and a half years
doing this,
learning. And I mean, the learning still continues.
Okay, continue, because we need to know more about this. So that's
learn about it.
Okay, so that's the extra chromosome that now gives us what we now call this condition,
called Down syndrome.
Okay.
And the condition actually is named after an English medical doctor, Dr. Langdon Down. Okay. That's where the name Down comes from.
Okay.
That was the first person to discover that there is something that all the children born with this condition have.
I see.
But he did not identify exactly what that is. It wasn't until 1959 when a friend geneticist called Jerome Lejeune who discovered that it was that extra chromosome on the 21st pairing that caused this condition. Now, you can see them physically. There are a lot of stigmata you could look at.
Okay.
But the most conclusive evidence would be to carry out chromosomal tests to be very positive. Because there are some kids that might be born with all those features.
And yet
they don't have Down syndrome. And there are those that the features may not be that prominent, and they have Down syndrome.
And people don't know.
They might not know. And there are 3 types of Down syndrome.
No, before we go into the types, so that we don't hold the audience into a medical class. Now,